about us that can make it a little bit sometimes more difficult to get along. Only humans have sex face to face. Now I know that don't go for all of y'all, but for the most part, this is a unique thing that humans do. This is how they reproduce, is face to face. Only humans sleep on their backs. You know, all the other animals, they do a lot of different things, but we all, you know, we have that capacity to be able to go to sleep on our back because most of us live in a non-threatening environment, and so we're able to sleep on our back instead of constantly being ready for some fight. And our brains are 80% water. Now that accounts for a lot of things, because many of us think that our brain is just 100% knowledge, and it's not like that. It's a lot of water, a lot of liquid there. Liquid is life. We just have to know how to direct it. The brain is not telling us what to do. We are telling the brain what to do, and it will support any idea we come up with. And the best example that I can always think of is that if you see a person who has decided that they are gay. Now some of the people that decide that they're gay, they go and take hormones so that they can grow hair on their face like a dude, or they get shots so they can grow breasts and everything. And then some people just take on a new idea, and then their whole body, their whole swagger starts to conform to that idea, and we see it right in front of our faces. We say, Dad, last time I seen her, she was a chick, now she a stone dude. She didn't have no surgery. She didn't take no hormone shots. It's just whatever idea you get, it'll start to manifest itself. That's how powerful your brain is. It'll get with whatever your idea is. We seen dudes and say, boy, he sure look like a thug. That's his idea. And we can recognize it on them. We see people that look dangerous. We see that on them, and we can recognize that. You know, so we're very unique. And just like the snowflakes and our fingerprints, everybody's tongue print is different. Every human being on the earth, you got different fingerprints from everybody else. You got a different tongue print. Just like every snowflake, every grain of sand. This is how God made that, so that we could be unique, each individual, with many of the same needs. But we all really do have a uniqueness about ourselves that we can be proud of. Now, not getting along, I want to let you know, is a luxury. You don't get along, it's a luxury. And there are several things required for you to have the luxury of not getting along and with fussing and fighting with your mate. It requires you to have a stable source of income for food and shelter, because you ain't worried about what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep. You got that, so I got time to fuss. It requires for you to be in pretty good health, because you got to have strength to bring up all that negativity. You got to have strength to do that. You got to be able to take a stand. So, you know, you have to be able to do that. And it requires us to think that we have options. You know, men and women, they like a bus. Miss one, catch another one. Well, I got news for y'all. That train has already left the station. It's not like that was. And it requires that we think that we have time. We can mess up, start all over, mess up, apologize, and this will just go on forever. We don't have that time anymore. What we have is just some basic major relationship problems, and they have been the same ones that we have had for the last 134 years. We 17 generations up from slavery, and many of our problems remain the same. I have a book called Are You Still a Slave? It's a test book. It lets you take a test and answer certain questions to determine how much of a slave are you still acting like even without a slave master. Since they put this into us, it's a lot of stuff we just on automatic. And we're the first people to say, well, you know, that's just how I feel. No, it's not. These are things that they bred, they put into us. And they certainly put into us not to get along with each other. That makes them the winner. In every civilization, on every continent, among every mammal, when the female mammal has to forage for food, fight and protect the nest, bear the children alone, and do all of those things, it makes her naturally hostile to the male mammal. Because she feels abandoned. Well, we have abandonment issues. It makes many of our men feel entitled to do anything they want to do, and we're supposed to go along with it. They put a lot of confusion into us that have made us bring that confusion even down into the world, into our children. And we have set them up for failure in their relationships because they're not doing what we tell them, they're doing what they see. And if they don't see us getting along, if they don't see our men respecting our women, they don't see our women respecting our men, then this is what they go into practice. We have a problem with fidelity and jealousy. That's really, we have a problem about lying. We especially charge our men with lying. That's a serious thing, this lying issue. We want y'all, when we ask you a question, we want y'all to testify. We want the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you, I'm gonna nag you forever about it. So this is something that we do to try to get to it. We say, well, if you had just told me you didn't want to be with me no more, then I could have handled it. That's a lie. No man in here need to believe that. Okay? That is never going to be the truth. I mean, what is our man supposed to do? Say, listen, baby, I done met somebody I like better than you. We have better sex than me and you. She got a good job. She got a car. She ain't got but one child. And so I don't want to be with you no more. How is that going to go over? Well, we're going to say, well, yeah, listen, thank you, brother. I'm glad you told me. That's not how that's going to go. So when we put our man in a position where he can't bring the truth, and then when you all tell us a lie, then we get very angry because we want you to testify. Now, testify was a word that used to be used in the Roman courts. And if a man wanted to tell the truth about something, then he would swear on his testicles. Now we know the last thing y'all gonna do is to swear on those. Okay? So perhaps sometime our expectation about some of these things might be a little bit outrageous because we have so many insecurities. If you go outside the door, where you going, when you be back, who you gonna be with? How long you gonna be gone? Who you gonna be standing with? How much money you gonna spend? Who did you see? Well, what happened while you was there? What did he say? We better than the FBI. Okay? And that's an unreal expectation. See, there are a lot of lofty ideas that we can talk about relationships, but we have to deal with some basic principles that we still haven't got straight. And people tell me all the time when I go out, they say, I really like that sister because she's down to earth. Well, hey, we live on the earth. This is where we have to be, down to this earth. This is the only planet we got life on that we know of. We live right here on this earth. And these are earthen issues that we are dealing with. And as sisters, we need to, this is a really serious issue. We need to stop going so crazy and berserk if we find out that perhaps our man has made a mistake or did it intentionally, was with another woman. I mean, it's not like you alone. Every one of us women in here done had a man that was with somebody else. Because there ain't no such man that's going to be with no one woman for his entire 75-year life. Now that's the reality that we're dealing with. That ain't the one we want to deal with, but that's the reality of it. It's no such a man. If it was such a man, me and my sister Kelly would have him. So we have searched for that mystery God. He do not exist. And that doesn't mean that it's taking anything from you or me. It's not even about that. It's about the nature of us as two different people. Now that's a personal decision, of course, that men make, but I'm just want to let the sisters know that's nothing we have to be ashamed of. Our grandmothers, our great-grandmothers, our mothers, us, everybody. We ain't never had no woman that had a man that wasn't never with nobody else. It doesn't exist. It is called, the messenger said, the imagination of truth. And it will get you in trouble with such great disappointment. You don't have to be ashamed. You're not telling nobody that ain't never heard of it. You know, say that point going out, burning his clothes, tearing up his car, messing up everything that you didn't have to pay for, and then when you get over being mad, you're going to be back with him. So we need to not do that. It's just a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. And it gives us setbacks. Like I say, it's a luxury. You don't know when the last time is going to be. And you lose someone that really, really is dear to you and someone that you love. Now, the second problem we have is about some of our men don't have no job. Now, that's a real issue because we need money. We want money, you know. Now, you know, last year we spent about $13 billion on our fingernails. So we could probably do with a little less money. We spent another $23 billion on our hair. $10 billion of that was on our fake hair. Okay? So we, you know, have spent money, but we have a problem sometimes if a man can't afford to do those things for us. And, you know, there's a lot of people living in the world that make $200 a year. There's some people don't make the $75 a month. They still there. They not eating like we eating and everything. They not overweight either. They don't have diabetes and everything we got. But nevertheless, there are people who live with much less than we do. And certainly we all want to have a man who has a visible means of legal support. Okay, we all want to have that. But we can't completely judge our men by the same standard that the white woman judged her man, because her man ain't never been repressed. Okay? Many of our men are out of work because they just too depressed, or they can't work, or don't want to work. And then you got a lot of our men who are out of work because the white people in charge of the jobs won't give them an opportunity or a job. This is not magic. And then they'll give more to us, and then we start tripping and start thinking, I don't know why you can't get no job, I got one. It's not like that. With many of us, we take the position with our man where any job is better than no job. But that's not the position of a man. Men take the position where no job is better than any job. They have a different standard. They have a different ego. And no matter what we think we can feel and experience, we do not know what it's like to be a black man in America. The little tiny glimpse that I got almost make me want to cry all day, because it's so unfair to our man. And the best success that this country can have is to use us as a tool against the black man. They're already against him. See, they protected their woman for all those years. If you mess with a white woman at one time, they would kill you. They protected her. But see, ain't nobody never protected us. And so being free fall out here, they have felt that it was okay for them to be able to come in and give us the things that they keep our men from giving us, so that they can be our man. And we even call him the man. I'm going to call the man. Yeah, the man called him. Well, we talking about the white man. But you are man. And we need to return that title to him. We need to try to be more respectful. Even if he don't respect himself, we need to try to respect him. That's a hard instruction. Because we know things. But that we really have to practice that. We really have to try to practice just how to be respectful, since we know that he's not the only damaged goods. We damage goods too. It doesn't mean it necessarily has to hold us back, but we do live in a society where we have more opportunities and more benefits. All we have to do is get pregnant, and the white man will give us a house, a place to live in, health insurance, pharmacy coverage, daycare, food stamps, rent coverage, and everything else. A black man can't get nothing unless he done lost his job. He can get some unemployment for a while. But since most of y'all ain't even had no job, you eliminated from that access. So it's not fair. It really is not right how it's set up. And I want you to understand that. And so those things keep us from wanting to be with a man, because we say he ain't got nothing. Well, we wouldn't have nothing either if they wasn't trying to use us against him. It don't make us greater and better because we have been able to make a little bit of progress, because we've had more support out here. Because they want to own our children. They want to make us totally dependent upon them. This hasn't changed. We haven't got that modern where that don't exist no more. We have to stop looking at our men as sex objects. Now that's a turn, isn't it? That's how come you have so many sisters that's disappointed, because the only time they get along with their man is when they laying down. Once the man stand up, we don't want to be in it no more. He might tell us what to do or something. All bets are off. That's the deal breaker when you start trying to tell me what to do. We have to look at it. We have to stop using our men like that. You know, when a rat get ready to mate, the female rat go and sniff around the male rat. She makes sure, first of all, that he don't have any imperfections so that she can get pregnant. He can't have polio, he can't have diabetes, high blood pressure. He can't have heart disease or none of that, or she don't deal with him. And the second thing he has to do is to be able to go someplace and make a nest for her. If he don't have a home for her, if he can't dig a hole somewhere for her, then she said, I can't be with you. I'm going to find me another rat. Okay? So it's not unreasonable if the female rat can practice that. It's not unreasonable for us as black women to require that. No, I can't get pregnant because you ain't got nowhere for me and the baby to sleep. Okay? No, I can't get pregnant because tomorrow I might be hungry. You ain't got no food for me. What we gonna eat? That's important. So we can require that. So we need to, when we see a brother and he's down, leave him there. Because if you pick him up and drag him up, he gonna leave you the first chance he get, because he want to be around somebody who think he was always up. That's how that worked. You can't make no man. You can't get with no man who ain't got nothing and buy him some shoes, buy him a coat and a hat, and then when you get mad, want to take it back. You can't buy no man. If you want to make a man, you have to do it with your own son, your nephew, your cousin, a boy in the community. You can take a little child and try to grow him up, but you can't take no grown man and turn him into a man. That's a waste of time. And any investment you make, you will fail. That's just the truth of that. And it's going to be hard because they be needing so much. Show up, ain't got no underwear, ain't got no socks, just whatever it is, okay? Leave him alone. He'll get some. I guarantee you, he'll get some if he want to be with you. We set the standard. And if there ain't no standard, then he don't live up to nothing. Because they want to be with us, whatever it costs, whatever it takes, they want to be with us. But if we make that so simple and so easy that no matter what, we'll just accept that and go along and, you know, just to go to bed with him. You know, in your entire life, you only spend about 2.5 hours having a climax. That's all total. Whatever you done told yourself, it's a lie. It's 2.5 hours. Okay? So that little bit of time is not as important as all the other aspects of the relationship. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't nobody break up over sex. People break up over issues like, you didn't close the bathroom door, you didn't put the seat down, I'm tired of sweeping the floor, how come you don't help me fold the clothes? Anything. We break up over that. You come in too late. Well, where's the rest of your money? How come you gave your mama some money? I mean, we break up over all of those kind of things. We don't break up over sex. So it's a value, but it's not the value that we have placed on it. It's not the only thing to do. You have to have something to talk about, some kind of aspirations, some kind of goal. And you might even need to have good credit. That's the new criteria now. I don't want to see your HIV card, I want to see your credit report. Now, if we just base it on that, we know ain't none of us going to be together. We may as well not even try to have a relationship if it's going to be based on credit. Because we just found out about that. We've been here 135 years. It's only been 2 years that we've been learning anything about a credit report. Nobody never taught us about no credit. It's really sad, but this is where we are. We got to look at where we are and stop tripping, pretending we someplace else because that's where white people are or because that's where they set the standard. We got to start where we are to make the change and to make an improvement. It has to be what we're doing. And raising our children, that's an issue. Over 60% of the black babies in Philadelphia are aborted. That's probably very similar here in D.C. because this is a nationwide phenomenon. White people trying to have babies, we're trying to kill ours. Now, there's simple remedies for some of that. If you don't want to have no baby, don't get pregnant. Don't have unprotected sex. Now, many of our young girls now are using abortion as birth control. They have 5 and 6, 7 a year. We have so many unwed mothers. And we have something that's never talked about. We have so many unwed fathers. Because it still does take the two people. We do not have an immaculate conception among black people. It's the men and the women that make the baby. We have to deal with how we're rearing our children. We have to stop trying to give them everything we think we didn't have as a child. You want to make peace with somebody, make it with yourself. Don't use the child like that and confuse them so that they grow up thinking that they are what they own. And you're not what you own. You're who you are. It has nothing to do with what some white people and some Asians made, because everything we got come from them. So we can't let that be the standard of who, we think that we are. It was a merry-go-round we used to have our children on, but now this thing is moving so fast, it's like a roller coaster. We can't keep up. We can't teach them that the brand name clothes is more important than their math test. We can't neglect the children in the name of I'm working to take care of you. Those things have to go hand in hand. And it's almost better if you let your child sit with his daddy on the curb who ain't got no job, then we as women keep sitting in the house talking about we can raise a boy alone. We can feed them alone and clothe them alone, but we can't raise them alone. We don't know how to make no man, or all of us would have a man. So we know we got some kind of problem up in there in that area of trying to deal with, how we gonna get along or be with a man. And then we see a lot of grown men, and we'll go out with them, we say, I ain't going out here no more. He is so silly. Well, he didn't get grown and get silly. He was silly when he was a little boy, and didn't nobody interfere and interrupt and help him. So we have to take a position that, okay, if we're going to be a mother, then we could deal with our girls. And everybody in America see the condition, mostly black girls. And we're big girls. And they're not in good condition, most of them. We've gotten waylaid with a lot of material things. We've gotten waylaid with sex. They've whipped us into a frenzy with this whole sexual thing. That's the total goal. And we got it all mixed up. And as a result of that, we're not making the relationship legacy that we want to make for the future. We're not showing the image that we want our children and grandchildren to see so they can go out and act like that. What we're doing is not good. And we also, on this argument thing, we have to let our men win some of the arguments. I know that sounds painful. But it's okay to let him win sometime. All you got to do is grit your teeth and say, that's right, baby. You're right. Okay. We ain't got to win every argument. You can be right, and you'll be right by yourself. Don't be right all the time. There's no winner in that. We don't give them an opportunity. Men, a father is not another mother. He's not going to discipline the child, talk to the child, or deal with him like we do. And every time our man try to say something different or teach or tell the child something different, we got to protect him. Oh no, don't you deal with him like that. And then when he go up and have an identity crisis, or by the time he's about 12 or 13 and out of hand, then we want to call the father and say, you better come and get him. See, this thing is repetitive. This is not just going on today. This is what's been going on for the past 50 years. since the oncoming of new black millionaires, of the material items and the technology advancing where you have all these material things. All of that has created that for us, so that we're not even real with the people that we be with. We manufacture some kind of personality, so when we meet somebody, we can think we're somebody else. And then after about 60 days, when the sexual attraction wear off, and you start meeting that real person, you decide, I don't like them at all. Who is that? Who are you? You know, listen, baby, you're gonna have to go. Because this is how it works. It's more lies told in the first 2 and 3 weeks of any relationship than at any other time in your life. Now you're talking about some humongous lies, some gigantic misrepresentations about what you got, who you are, what you drive, where you work, what your history is, everything. We just lie because we want to make a good impression, and we want to be accepted and admired. We don't deal with the truth that you can't maintain that. Pretty soon it's going to be, baby, can I get some gas money or something? Something is going to come up that we will know that it's not the truth. This is our life. This is our life. This is what we live in. And the reason I can tell you these things is because they go on in all our house. We think something different going on in everybody's house. No, it's not. The same nonsense is going on in everybody else. It's not different. You think you're different. It ain't different. It's the same. It's not different. Which is why we need a group solution to help us to start working on something. It's not to go out and join the organization. It's not to go, get in this club or group. You got to start where you at. You got to start at home, at the person you're looking at. Whether it's your family, whether it's your man, your woman, whomever, start trying to get along with them before you come out here in the street going to protest something to help somebody else get along. Sometimes we go out, we can't even make it back in the car from a protest. We be fighting and arguing in. This hypocrisy. Yeah, we all go into some kind of mass hypnosis and pretend it's not going on. It's going on, and it is destroying us year after year after year. See, we have one thing in common. We have a shared ancestral slave history. But we can't get away from that. We have come through the same thing. It's in us genetically. All our fears, our insecurities, our hatreds, hatred of self, hatred of anybody that look like us. All of that was bred into us. And so when those things come up, we have to be able to fight against it and say, no, I'm not going to do that because I know that's what they want me to do. I'm going to take a little bitty step. I'm going to try to just do something different. I'm going to try to do for self, some kind of way. And the sisters, we have to take our hearts, as I said, because I mention this again because this is so important. We have to take our heart out of our vagina. Okay? That's not where your heart is. Don't let a man win your heart because of that. He got to win your head. He got to win your respect. He got to, win your honor. And he has to try to help us, not do it, because nobody can really make you happy. Happiness is a thing that you have to decide as an individual. And so all that, I'm looking for somebody to make me happy, you gonna be looking forever. You ain't gonna never get finished looking. Because that doesn't exist like that. You have to decide, you know what? He all right. I'm gonna hose him off, dust him down. We're gonna be okay. I'm gonna make it with him. I'm gonna cook him some food. I'm gonna cook, period. Now, a man that wants a woman today, he can say, listen, I want a woman who's her own woman. I want her to be in good shape health-wise. I want her to be a certain size or whatever. But you better not say you want a woman that can cook, or you won't never get no woman. This is how crazy we have become. Food is what sustains life. How are we going to decide we don't want to cook the food? Historically, it is the female that go out and get the food and bring it home and cook it and serve it. Now, that's the history. That's on every continent. It's only in America where the female goes to the Chinese restaurant or McDonald's and bring the food home. That's not quite what our history is. Okay? So we're not teaching our daughters to eat, to cook, and to eat to live. See, we are very powerful because we decide who's going to live and die. We decide how long you're going to live, what shape you're going to be in while you live, how you're going to feel. We decide all of that by what we feed you. And we could kill you in 6 months if we decided. We could do it in 6 months or less. Feed you a whole lot of chitlins, a whole lot of ham, a whole lot of white bread, white rice, white pasta, white sugar. Oh, we can lay you to rest. That's a lot of power. And as sisters, we need to know that that's a lot of power. We can build the nation. We can help our men to be able to see a long time, to have good virility a long time. We can do that by what we feed you. You know, fortunately for me, and the reason I look so good is that in 1967, I heard the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and he told me how to eat to live. He said, and you can look like this when you get old. Okay? But there's all kind of information out here now about how you can eat, how you can prepare food, get the children off the sugar. We can't give up our culture just because we live in America. We can't give up being black because Barack Obama is now the president of America. Okay? We're not multicultural. We are one cultural. We are not African Americans. We are American Africans. That's a different result. We are what an African looks like after being nearly destroyed here in this country by the white people. That's important to know. That's why they don't claim us on no other continent. The Africans that come here don't love us, and we don't like them. And all we talk about is the motherland, Africa, until we run into a real African. And we know that. How many Africans come over to our house to have dinner? How many Africans do our children play with? How many Africans go to church or the temple with us and everything? None. We don't hardly even eat in an African restaurant. This is the confusion and the hypocrisy we practice. We have to start really just trying to deal with ourselves. We have come a long way, and I don't want to take that away from us. But things are getting ready to change. This is really the short crux of what I wanted to tell you tonight. Things are getting ready to change in this country. They're not going to change because of Barack Obama. They're going to change because of things that have already occurred before he got into the presidency, okay? We heading for some hard times. Now, I know we think we have already had hard times. But no, we heading for a different kind of hard times. And we will finally know the answer to what's love got to do with it. Nothing. It's going to be survival. Whole paradigm getting ready to change. As I said, not getting along and fussing with our mates is a luxury. You're getting ready to be surprised how good you can get along with somebody. You're getting ready to be happier than you ever been. We're going to have forced unity. Our priority lists are going to shorten. And we're going to find out that we can really survive with our own fingernails. We're going to fix our own hair. We're going to eat beans more than we ever have ate them. Okay? And we're going to be happy. We're going to be praying. We're getting ready to deal. And words like keeping it real going to take on a whole new meaning. Okay? We have to be able to be ready for this time that's coming. We need to cut our spending some. all that time in the club, we need to try to stay home at night and see if it really will run us crazy. We're going to have to get our sisters off the street hanging out all night. We're going to have our brothers stop killing the rest of our people who are on the street with drugs. And if you got any guns, you better save them for your real enemy. Okay? Because it's not nobody that look like you. Okay? We're going to have to prepare for the day of want, which is coming quickly. Okay? And all the brand name clothes you got, you will be willing to sell them for a loaf of bread. That's going to be the real relationship. As I said, not getting along, it's a luxury. And the time is up now. Now, you know, many of us are already out of work. We have somewhat adjusted to it, so we're ahead of the curve. But now you got a lot of people out here who getting ready to get out of work and getting ready to lose their houses, their cars, their credit cards, and all those things, and they're going to have a hard time. And they might be ready to take that frustration out on you. So that means you're going to have your house secure. You're going to have you some kangas or something put up. And you're going to have to teach your children that they can't have every game that come out that the Asians put out for $49.95. We're going to have to shake these priorities and do this a little differently. And you will be surprised that as you are starting to deal with mere and sheer survival, a whole lot of them arguments, they're going to just dissipate. If there be any fights in your house, it'll be who ate the last beans. It is no longer going to be about, I know you was with her, I saw you with him. We're not going to do that. That's going to end, I'm telling you. And I want you to remember that I'm telling you this. That's a luxury. Your relationship legacy has to be one where you have set an example, where you lead by example. And you may have to talk to a whole lot of people before you finally run into somebody that makes some sense. Okay? It may be just somebody that's in peace. Because sometimes when a man especially is with a woman who is in peace, then he can produce more. He has the spirit to go out and try to do something. But you can't nag no man in the ground and then expect him to go out and want to give you nothing. It don't work that way. I know. And I know the same way you know. It wasn't until I got nice that the blessings opened up for me. You know, a smile, it goes a long way. Our man been out in the world, everybody he met been mad at him, hating him, dogging him, and then when he come home, what man want to come home to another house where somebody else mad? And he can't get away from us. He can go on the street, he got to pass them on the job. But when he come home, you know, just a smile. That's supportive. That's helpful. That's how to have a man. It is not about any of what we think it is. It's not about how we look. It's not about how long our hair is. It's not about no shape. It ain't about none of that. It's about peace. Bear witness to the truth. Is it about peace? All right. That's what it's about. And if you can't learn how to practice peace, it don't matter what kind of hairstyle you got, what kind of clothes you got, what kind of credit cards you got, what kind of job you have. None of that don't matter if you don't know how to have peace for a man. Notice I didn't say with a man. I said for a man. That's so far removed from so many of us that we still mad at our father. And then a brother come along and we be beating him up. And he be wondering, what is her problem? She mad at her daddy. You got to try to wade through all of that to try to get to the woman. It's unfair. It's just completely unfair. It's just not fair to our men. Just how we deal with them. It's not fair. I've been saying it. It's just not right. Because they're the most gentle soul. We have the very best man on earth. everybody want our man, but us. We have the best man. We have the most attractive man. We have the strongest man. We have the most creative man. They don't keep our man out because he bad. They keep him out because he the best. And they know any little thing he get in, including the presidency, if he get in it, he in it to win it. See? So we need to recognize who that is. The black man was the first man on earth. And if God made man in his image, okay, you with a black man, that might be the closest to God you ever get. Okay? This thing is real, and I'm not doing this for y'all to do what y'all usually do in this room, which is probably come in here and shout and then go home and act the same. That ain't what I'm telling you these things for. We talk about make a little bitty change. You ain't gotta make no big change.
That's right. It's all good, sister.
You know, if it's concrete on the ground, the reason they have to really prepare the earth when they lay concrete is because one blade of grass that you can flick with your finger can crack that entire concrete. One blade of grass will crack concrete that if it fell on you would kill you. So if you come up with a little blade of grass, then you can crack the concrete that's repelling and holding our man down. The white woman is for her man. The Asian woman is for her man, and you know the Jewish woman is for hers. We need to start a whole new paradigm. Let's speak a good word for our man. Let's don't let nobody just come down on him. I have been in elevators. It'd be a brother in the elevator and a white man be in the elevator, and the white man will ask a question, and every sister in there turn around and start answering. You know, I know my position is I ain't the information booth. You know? But I've seen that. I've seen sisters walk past a brother and just won't even speak to him. That ain't right. That's not right. You know, we have to do this thing differently. We have to make our man want to be with us, want to come home to us. And we also have to recognize that just like he's beautiful to us, he's beautiful to everybody else to see him. Okay? We don't have no lockdown on him being wonderful. This is just how it is. They're all beautiful. I know millions of them. And each of you have something wonderful in you that's waiting to come out if you can get past your relationship with your mother and with those other women you've had. See, we got all of that is in there. It's all in there. It's all buried. It's repressed. But it ain't that deep because of one little scratch. You know how we argue with them. We be having a real hot argument. And then next thing we know, we talking about their family, their roots, their feet, everything. You know, we just do it unfairly because we so ready with it, you know. We so pent up. We ready to fight it out. And we can't win. Even when we win, we lose. So we want to try to just be kind to each other and try to do that differently. We need to protect our children. Here's something as sisters we can do. Protect our children from future back pain for our men and from our little girls from having a weak uterus. The book bags they're carrying should not be any more than 25% of their weight. These books that they're giving them in the school, that they're not teaching them out of anyway, sometimes weigh 30 and 40 pounds. That's too much. Check your child's book bag. There's a project for you. Go home and see, and if that book bag is too heavy, get to the school and demand that the teacher carry the book bag around all day. See what they think about it. Because it's really injuring our children. We have to protect our children from premature sexual arousal. Now that's very important. Stop letting them look at all of them filthy sexual innuendo movies and videos and all of that. Little children can't handle those emotions. And unfortunately, our men have not been able to develop the kind of discipline that keeps them from hitting on young girls. So we have to teach the children how to at least dress and function in a certain way to try to protect themselves. This is something that we don't address that we need to do. We need to recognize that the people who are telling us now to date other men of other races and nationalities, they're not really for us, sisters. See, other men in other races and nationalities have always had access to us. That ain't new. Usually by force. Okay? So we not only insult ourselves, we insult our men, we insult God who made our men by trying to be with some other nationality of people and pretend you somebody else. You got to deal with self. Okay, we got a whole shipload right here in this room. We got the same shared experience. Okay. I think there's something else that Barack Obama has been able to teach us, and you know we are glad, as a Muslim follower of the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, I am so glad that we have a black man in the White House who do not have a slave name. Now that is progress, and that is a good example. Now let me show you how you feel about it. Everybody in here who got a slave name, raise your hand. That's too many. That's way too many. You need to work on that. See, the white man don't care what you call yourself long as you don't change your social security number. You can be Spider-Man, just keep that same number. Okay? You know. So don't be afraid to take one of your own African names. Give him back his name.
Yes.
You don't have to tell no Jewish mother, don't name your child Adolf Hitler. She know not to do that, that's an insult to her culture. Okay? So everybody with a slave name need to start recognizing that. You need to give them back their name. I don't care if you got it from your mom and your daddy, it wasn't theirs. Nobody can get off the ship named John and William, Martha, Tamika. There's nobody on the ship named that. Not one person. Pick you a name. Get one of your names back. That's the first step in reclaiming your own. And since we have an example now, this beautiful brother and his family up there, his name is Barack Obama. He's not Willie Jones. We wouldn't even want him to be President Jones. See? So that's a sign. We can do that. Get your own name. Don't make up no name. We already have names. Get a name book. Get your own name. Then look at the power of signing your own name. Answering to your own name. And I get called everything. Shahrazad, Shahrazad, anything. It's all right. I say yes. Anything is better than Sally me. See? It feels good. I can flip that, and then I go play sometime and they'll say, well, who do we make the check out to? I say, what you mean, who you make the check out to? I say, you make the check out to Shahrazad Ali. Oh, okay, sister, I didn't know. You didn't know what? So we ain't talking about you having two names. Okay? I don't want to see you and say, how you doing, Malik? And then somebody come by and say, hey, Rudy, man. Okay? Get your own name. Own your own name. Tell your children about how you got robbed of your name. Stop protecting your children from the truth. Tell them about slavery. Tell them who their open enemy is. If not, we send them out to be slaughtered. They at a total disadvantage when they don't know who the enemy is. Or the white people tell their children who the enemy is. They certainly tell the police department. We have to stop trying to protect our children from slavery. Give them the history. I'm raising my 8-year-old grandson. He could probably come up here and teach as well as I could today. Because I've given him the truth. I told him what's what. He's a black boy. He's going to grow up, inshallah, to be a black man. He got to know who is who. He got to know what to look out for, how to function, how to deal. We're not talking about putting fear in them when they're little babies. We just tell them the truth. You know the truth. And all that nonsense about, that was a long time ago. No, it wasn't. It was this afternoon. That wasn't a long time ago. It's today. Okay. But we are the best. I just want to keep reiterating that. We are the best. Leave here knowing you the best. We got a man that has survived hanging, having his penis and testicles cut off, and he grew a new one. We got women in here who had to squat down and have babies in the cotton field and get up and keep picking cotton, who had to bite the placenta with her teeth. We got women who didn't never have time to get sick, who had to make a meal out of no meal. Okay? We have that in us. That's who we are. We have them. That's who we are as black women. We didn't come from weak stock. We came from good stock. That's how we are standing here today. 435 years later, that's how I'm standing here today, still holding on to the truth. The truth ain't old-fashioned. You ain't never going to be able to talk me out of being black. I'm not ashamed of it. I'm proud of it. I don't want no slave name. I don't want nothing the slave master gave to us, because everything he gave to us was to destroy us. Now that's the reality of what we're living. So I'm going to close now. And I want to thank Brother Rafu for inviting me down. I have really enjoyed this. I love to bring the message of truth to our people, because if even 5% of y'all tonight go home and do this thing differently, well, then we have 5 more families that will create a better example for the community. We have 5 more people who will be happy. See, happiness ain't promised nowhere. That's something you have to decide that you want to pursue or be. It ain't nothing to say you're going to grow up and you're going to be happy. You have to decide, I want to be happy. I want to do the right thing. I want to be an upright man. I ain't trying to impress no other Negroes that don't know nothing, still loving white people. I'm not trying to them. I ain't trying to impress no white people that want me to stay a slave so they can rule and live in luxury. That's not who we want to be. We are greater than that. We are the best. Every one of us in the best. I don't care where you came from or what somebody did to you. You still the best. If you're robbing banks, you're the best bank robber they ever had. You are the best at whatever you do. You're just going to be the best. That's just how God made it. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Bring that confusion even down into the world, into our children. And we have set them up for failure in their relationships, because they're not doing what we tell them, they're doing what they see. And if they don't see us getting along, if they don't see our men respecting our women, they don't see our women respecting our men, then this is what they go into practice. We have a problem with fidelity and jealousy. That's really, we have a problem about lying. We especially charge our men with lying. That's a serious thing, this lying issue. We want y'all, when we ask you a question, we want y'all to testify. We want the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you, I'm going to nag you forever about it. So this is something that we do to try to get to it. We say, well, if you had just told me you didn't want to be with me no more, then I could have handled it. That's a lie. Don't no man in here need to believe that. Okay? That is never going to be the truth. I mean, what is our man supposed to do? Say, listen, baby, I done met somebody I like better than you. We have better sex than me and you. She got a good job. She got a car. She ain't got but one child. And so I don't want to be with you no more. How is that going to go over? Well, we're going to say, well, yeah, listen, thank you, brother. I'm glad you told me. That's not how that's going to go. So when we put our man in a position where he can't bring shots, it's just whatever idea you get, it'll start to manifest itself. That's how powerful your brain is. It'll get with whatever your idea is. We seen dudes and say, boy, he sure look like a thug. That's his idea. And we can recognize it on them. We see people that look dangerous. We see that on them, and we can recognize that. So we're very unique. And just like the snowflakes and our fingerprints, everybody's tongue print is different. Every human being on the earth, you got different fingerprints from everybody else. You got a different tongue print. Just like every snowflake, every grain of sand. This is how God made that, so that we could be unique, each individual, with many of the same needs. But we all really do have a uniqueness about ourselves that we can be proud of. Now, not getting along, I want to let you know, is a luxury. You don't get along, it's a luxury. And there's several things required for you to have the luxury of not getting along and with fussing and fighting with your mate. It requires you to have a stable source of income for food and shelter, because you ain't worried about what you're going to eat, where you're going to sleep. You got that, so I got time to fuss. It requires for you to be in pretty good health, because you got to have strength to bring up all that negativity. You got to have strength to do that. You got to be able to take a stand. So, you have to be able to do that. And it requires us to think that we have options. Men and women, they like a bus. Miss one. It's about us that can make it a little bit sometimes more difficult to get along. Only humans have sex face to face. Now, I know that don't go for all of y'all, but for the most part, this is a unique thing that humans do. This is how they reproduce, is face to face. Only humans sleep on their backs. All the other animals, they do a lot of different things, but we all, we have that capacity to be able to go to sleep on our back, because most of us live in a non-threatening environment, and so we're able to sleep on our back instead of constantly being ready for some fight. And our brains are 80% water. Now that accounts for a lot of things, because many of us think that our brain is just 100% knowledge, and it's not like that. It's a lot of water, a lot of liquid there. Liquid is life. We just have to know how to direct it. The brain is not telling us what to do. We are telling the brain what to do, and it will support any idea we come up with. And the best example that I can always think of is that if you see a person who has decided that they are gay. Now, some of the people that decide that they're gay, they go and take hormones so that they can grow hair on their face like a dude, or they get shots so they can grow breasts and everything. And then some people just take on a new idea, and then their whole body, their whole swagger starts to conform to that idea. And we see it right in front of our faces. We say, Dad, last time I seen her, she was a chick, now she a stone dude. She didn't have no surgery. She didn't take no hormones, catch another one. Well, I got news for y'all. That train has already left the station. It's not like that was. And it requires that we think that we have time. We can mess up, start all over, mess up, apologize, and this will just go on forever. We don't have that time anymore. What we have is just some basic major relationship problems, and they have been the same ones that we have had for the last 134 years. We 17 generations up from slavery, and many of our problems remain the same. I have a book called Are You Still a Slave? It's a test book. It lets you take a test and answer certain questions to determine how much of a slave are you still acting like even without a slave master. Since they put this into us, it's a lot of stuff we just on automatic. And we're the first people to say, well, that's just how I feel. No, it's not. These are things that they put into us. And they certainly put into us not to get along with each other. That makes them the winner. In every civilization, on every continent, among every mammal, when the female mammal has to forage for food, fight and protect the nest, bear the children alone, and do all of those things, it makes her naturally hostile to the male mammal. Because she feels abandoned. Well, we have abandonment issues. It makes many of our men feel entitled to do anything they want to do, and we're supposed to go along with it. They put a lot of confusion into us that have made us the truth. And then when you all tell us a lie, then we get very angry, because we want you to testify. Now, testify was a word that used to be used in the Roman courts And if a man wanted to tell the truth about something, then he would swear on his testicles. Now we know the last thing y'all gonna do is to swear on those. Okay? So perhaps sometime our expectation about some of these things might be a little bit outrageous because we have so many insecurities. You know, if you go outside the door, where you going, when you be back, who you gonna be with? How long you gonna be gone? Who you gonna be standing with? How much money you gonna spend? Who did you see? Well, what happened while you was there? What did he say? You know, we better than the FBI. Okay? And that's an unreal expectation. You know, see, there are a lot of lofty ideas that we can talk about relationships, but we have to deal with some basic principles that we still haven't got straight. And people tell me all the time when I go out, they say, you know, I really like that sister because she down to earth. Well, hey, we live on the earth. This is where we have to be, down to this earth. This is the only planet we got life on that we know of. We live right here on this earth. And these are earthen issues that we are dealing with. And as sisters,